Governor Wes Moore, everybody.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing? This is excellent. So first, Mr. Chair, I just want to say thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your vision and for your inspiration. It's an honor to work with you and be with you in this work. So God bless you and thank you so much for all you continue to do. And for all our members of the CBC. We bask under the shade that y'all provide every single day for all of us, for all of our communities. And I'm so grateful to be your partner inside this work. And I tell you, briefly, people have asked me today, they're like, this ain't even your state. Well, I was the governor of Maryland, I shouldn't say down here, up here in Pennsylvania. And the answer is easy. It's because leadership matters. And this election matters to each and every one of us. And I know I do. I stand here as probably the most improbable governor in this country. As a person who was raised by the son of an immigrant single mom who did not get her first job that gave her benefits until I was 14 years old. As a person who had handcuffs to my wrist by the time I was 11. Person who was actually I joined the Army when I was 17. I was sent to military school here in Pennsylvania when I was 13. I had some issues. Pennsylvania squared me away though. Yes, Pennsylvania squared me away. But the thing that I know more than anything else is inside this work, if you don't have the right partner inside this work, nothing is possible. And if you have the right partner, nothing is impossible. When we stand here and we know the challenges that for so many of our communities that we have faced, and these things have been historic, that there's legacy to them. That we can't understand and talk about an 8-to-1 racial wealth gap in my state of Maryland by thinking that one group works 8 times harder. That there are systemic challenges and problems that have existed for a very long time, and it takes the right kind of leader and the right kind of partner to say, and you know what? We're going to do something about it. It takes the right kind of leader to stand up and say, we're going to address things like unfair appraisal values in historically redlined neighborhoods because those have been the greatest wealth thefts that we have seen inside of our nation's history. It takes the right kind of leader to say we are going to focus on not just employment, having the lowest unemployment rate recorded in the history of recording unemployment rates that we see in the African American community, but also say it's not just about employment, it's also about raising wages. It's also about making sure that people can actually earn what they've earned. It's about making sure that we can do things to address things like housing. Because if you want to be able to address the wealth gap, it means we need to create an ownership society, specifically within our African American community. It means providing historic capital to our HBCUs, $16 billion and counting, supporting our HBCUs. It means making sure we have a leader who sees us, who believes in us. And so I tell people all the time, I need you to come out in November. And not because you should be afraid of the alternative. We know the alternative. And I don't like that. But I'm not excited about November because I'm afraid of the alternative. I'm excited about November because look at what this president has gotten done in his first years of office. Imagine if we can give him 4 more. Nothing is impossible, y'all. As long as we're willing to have the right partners in place to be able to lead us there. And so I'm grateful to be here with you today. I'm grateful to be with y'all tomorrow. I'm grateful to know that this election is not going to be won by polls, it's going to be won by the people. It's not going to be won by tracking, it's going to be won by community. Door by door, block by block, street by street. We are going to win in November. We are going to keep marching. We're going to keep moving forward. And we're going to create a society that those who came before us hope for. And those who come after us deserve. And so I'm truly honored now to turn the microphone over to Ms. Sutton, who, by the way, is not only a remarkable contractor, working in cement and construction, and got the boots to prove it, but also, as an alumni of Johns Hopkins University, I say Baltimore claims her, and Maryland claims her, even though we're very proud of the work that you're doing here in Pennsylvania and beyond. So bless you, Nat. God bless you. And thank you for all you're doing for all of us. Thank you so much.
Well, good afternoon. It is such a pleasure to be here with all of you. I'm going to turn the tone a bit into small business community and put the focus and the spotlight on us for a moment. Is that all right with y'all? Okay. Well, my name, as Wes said, is Lynette Sutton. I'm the managing partner of Girl Concrete. Girl Concrete is an MBE, female-managed union concrete contractor. But in the city of Philadelphia, I am affectionately known as the girl that pours. Concrete, that is. You know, when you're asked to introduce the president and be amongst such esteemed guests, I'm sure you can appreciate some of the things that come to mind. Immediately come to mind. Who, me? Wait, what do I wear? What about my hair? Right? And then, shortly thereafter, there's that moment when you say to yourself, what will I say? How will I meet this moment? After all, it's a once in a lifetime for a girl in concrete. An opportunity to be seen, to be heard, and to be a voice for the voiceless. But what if it wasn't a once in a lifetime opportunity? What if I wasn't such a unicorn, Mr. President? What if there were more black and brown businesses just like ours, women and people of color in the building trades, getting more than just one shot, one opportunity? What if the face of our bills and infrastructure was diverse and inclusive? Because it's just what the neighborhoods are, period. What if I didn't have to worry about how to look to secure the next contract, the next opportunity? What if what truly mattered was the most responsible bidder, not the lowest bidder? What if the agencies saw Girl Concrete as a company that employs 98% local, 77% people of color, and 26% women? And said, you know what, we should give them just more than one opportunity. We should give them several, so that they don't have to constantly hire and lay off folks, disrupt the livelihoods of their workers, and limit the number of apprentices that they bring onto a job. What if Girl Concrete had more than just a bunch of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities? Joe, that's the vision that I want to believe that you signed Biden's infrastructure law with. To ignite a consistent, sustainable, and more diverse construction workforce that inspires the next generation of the industry with more than just one opportunity. With that, please join me in welcoming the 46th President of the United States.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please sit down. Well, I tell you what, it's a hell of a crew, isn't it? The only one I'm afraid of. Look, one of the reasons why I'm working with the chairman of the Black Caucus in the Senate and the House, and a lot of work with the elected officials particularly, this guy is from Maryland. My father's from Maryland. But it's not Baltimore, it's Balmer. Balmer. And we're rebuilding a $60 zillion bridge in Balmer.
That's right.
Look, here's the deal. I believe, and I think the members of Congress who've worked with me know this, I believe that everybody deserves a shot. And I mean everybody. Based on, doesn't matter what your gender is, what your color is. And one of the reasons why things are moving the way they're moving is because I've insisted that, for example, I'm listed as the most pro-union president in American history. I'm proud of that. But guess what? I also was very clear to the union presidents. You better hire more blacks, you better hire more women. Not a joke. And you know it. And by the way, all the things she's bragging about, I did. Because, all kidding aside, there's nothing that can't be done. I really mean it. Not a damn thing that can't be done. You know, and when we talk about small business, and I want to thank the owners here, you know, we talk about small business like it's small. It makes up 50% of our economy. Add the Fortune 500 companies. The small businesses equal their economic power. That's what they do. They equal their economic power. They employ more people than the corporate Fortune 500 companies do. It's incredible what's done. We underestimate it. And it's about time we stop this looking at this trickle-down economy, where you say, okay, if the super wealthy do well, a lot will trickle down on our plates and things will be well. My dad used to say, not a damn thing trickled down his kitchen table. No, I'm serious. My dad worked like hell. My dad was a smart guy. He did well. But, you know, it was always a struggle. Always a struggle. I'm from, as you Pennsylvanians, I'm from Scranton. It's not Scranton, it's Scranton when you're from Scranton. But all kidding aside, we're in a situation where when coal died, we ended up, there was no work up there. And it died when I was in like second, third grade, fourth grade. My dad moved us back down to where he had been raised in Wilmington. He was raised in Baltimore, then Wilmington. His father moved to Wilmington. And we moved down to Claymont, Delaware. Some of you know Claymont. It's about a good long driver from here. And one of the things that occurred there was they used to have 4,500 steel workers that were steel. And all of a sudden it all dried up. There was no work. And one of the things we talked about, my dad used to say, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about making sure you can look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and have a chance of meaning it. I mean it sincerely, not a joke. And in Delaware, the reason I got elected when I was 29 years old to the Senate, we don't come from any money. We come from a 3-bedroom house in a little development called Mayfield, with a grandfather lived with us, 4 kids, and one relative always lived beyond my mom and dad. We weren't poor, but it was close family. But everybody thought it was a simple proposition. Just give them a chance. Just a chance. And so I got involved as a kid in the civil rights movement because the Philadelphians know this, at least the older ones do. Delaware was the only state in the nation, Wilmington the only city in America, occupied by the military for 9 months after Dr. King was assassinated. I was working for a fancy law firm. I just gotten a job, and I quit and became a public defender because there was a National Guard person standing on every single corner in Wilmington with a drawn bayonet. Not a joke, a drawn bayonet. So I quit the fancy law firm I got a job with. I hadn't even gotten the first paycheck. And I became a public defender. The point was, my dad always talked about everybody deserves a shot. Everybody. And that's what it's all about. And it makes no distinction between whether you're a man or a woman, you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, whatever the background is. Just flat out, everybody deserves a shot. I remember my dad, every once in a while when I was practicing law as a public defender, my office was near the DuPont Hotel, which used to be a 4-star hotel down in Wilmington. And every once in a while my dad would take me to the grill there for lunch. And so we were walking by one day, and the chairman of the board of the DuPont company came down the elevator. He comes into the lobby, and he said, hello. He nodded to my dad. My dad said hello. Then he immediately walked over to the shoe shine stand and thanked the shoe shine guys. And I said, why, everybody deserves to be treated with dignity. Everybody. I'm not making this up. It's how we were raised, how all of you were raised. Everybody deserves an even shot. And so that's what we're doing. And we're doing with incredible help. You know, we're in a situation where not only are we dealing with the issue of whether or not black women or women generally can get into fields they haven't been able to get into before. Guess what Jill's doing? My wife started this effort. We spend 1/3 as much on research, medical research for women as we do men. That's changing. It's changing. Everything's changing. I got more women in my administration than I have men in my administration. No, fact, okay? There's a simple reason for that. All the women in my family are smarter than all the men. But my point is, I just think what we're all about, cut it all away. It's about giving everybody just a shot. No one's asking for a free ride, just a shot. And that's what we're doing. And I think that's why we have a long way to go. We have literally the strongest economy in the world right now, in the whole damn world. We've got more to do. What we have to do is make sure that economy benefits everybody across the board. Everybody has a shot. And that's why I've changed the way we look at things. We no longer think about building a trickle-down economy. Not a joke, in literal terms. It is you build from the middle out and the bottom up. When the middle class does well, the poor have a shot, and the wealthy still do fine, as long as they start paying their taxes. No, that's not a joke. You know, all that stuff I got done, they told us we couldn't get anything done. I got it done with the Black Caucus and others helping me in the Congress. But guess what? We have a $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. $1.2 trillion. And guess what that means? Remember, Trump had infrastructure month for 4 years, didn't build a damn thing. Well, we're changing the way in which everything works in this country. How can you be the most powerful country in the world with a second-rate infrastructure, whether it's your ports, highways, airports, et cetera? We're also in a situation where, in addition to that, we made sure that people have a shot to do the things they need to do. You know, I'm not trying to be nice to, I know a lot about HBCUs because Delaware State, was a state university, HBCU, was the place I got organized and started. I went to University of Delaware. But the fact is that, you know, this is just people want to know that you just give them a shot. And so guess what? HBCUs don't have the money to put in the research labs and all the experimental stuff because they don't have the endowments they have. But those are all the jobs of the future, AI and all the rest. It costs billions of dollars to get it going. Well, guess what? They told me I couldn't do anything. I got $16 billion in the billion dollars this year for HBCUs. And there's two reasons. It'd be a wasted asset if we didn't, but I want to prove to everybody there's not a damn thing that a white man can do that a black man can't do or do better. I mean it sincerely. It's important to get it done. You go down the list of all the things we're talking about. And one of the things is that a lot of people don't know how to get to their, government has some good programs, but sometimes it's hard to figure out how they work. So what do? We have an entire staff designed to be able to go out and say to people, this is how you apply for this. This is how you do this. This is, every time I walk next to you, DJ, this goes off. I don't know, man. That's one powerful sucker here, man. This program, I walk up and my microphone goes off. But at any rate, I guess what I'm trying to say is I've never been more optimistic in my life. Not because I'm president, because I see things changing. And I promise you, it's going to seem to this group will understand it and believe it. But the rest of the world looks to the United States. Imagine, answer the rhetorical question. If we weren't leading the world, who leads the world? Name me a country. Name me one single country that could possibly lead. So we pull the world together. I'm serious. And we have such enormous opportunities to change the way in which we've been working, to build things that we never were able to build. And look, I'll end by saying there's a phrase, I used to always get kidded in the United States Senate because I was always quoting Irish poets on the floor of the Senate. They thought I did it because I was Irish. That's not the reason. I did it because they're the best poets in the world. And there's a poet, who wrote a poem called The Cure at Troy. And he said, once in a lifetime that longed for opportunity rises up and hope and history rhyme. We have a shot to make hope and history rhyme. We really do. We really do. We've got to remember who the hell we are. We're the United States of America. We have a value set that goes beyond the Constitution. Just basic decency, honesty. It matters. It matters. And that's why I'm so excited about being with all of you. Like I said, in 1969, I got involved deeply in the civil rights movement. Those of you who are Pennsylvanians know that Delaware used to be a slave state and a southern state in its attitudes. I mean, for real. We have the 8th largest black population as a percent of population of any state in the nation. And one of the things that amazed me was how the community stepped up when you gave it a shot. We've gone from a red state to a blue state, but the reason I'm elected. Nixon won my state by 60% of the vote when I ran as a 29-year-old kid. You have to be 30 to be sworn in. You can be elected early. You can't be sworn in until then. And I wasn't intending to run. I was running because no one else would run. They came to me and said, you run. And I went to a professor I had at Delaware, University of Delaware, and he was my political philosophy professor. I said, what do you think I should do, doctor? He said, remember what Plato said. And what the hell did Plato say? He said, the penalty good people pay for not being involved in politics is being governed by people worse than themselves. It's really kind of basic. So I ran thinking I'd make a point. I didn't even sure I could win. But I was smart enough to hire my sister. She and I went to school together. She was 3 years younger than me, 2 years behind me at the University of Delaware. She graduated Phi Beta. I graduated. You know, she managed all my campaigns, you know. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is I think we should shoot really high. We should aim high. And look at all that's been changed. For example, you know, the bridge went down over the Chesapeake. And we were there the next day. It was with the governor. And it was billions of dollars. But guess what? We changed it. It's already cleared the channel, already moving things. But they told us we can't do all that, remember? There's nothing we can't do. Remember when the guy ran, the tractor trailer took the bridge out here on 495? Well, guess what? 7 days. 7 days. Because we can do anything we put our mind to it. And so that's the only thing, I think what you do, those of you in the black community who take the chances and open the business, take the chances on getting deeply engaged. You give people confidence. I mean, you give people confidence and make people believe we can do what we can do. So I came basically to say thank you. And I ain't going anywhere. Now, I did DJ's program this morning, and he made a good point. He said he can't just talk in generalities and talk about democracy and all this. You got to talk specifics, how people affect people. But I figure this one audience I can talk about the general things that have to be done. We need a value set. We have to be what we say we are. That we hold these truths self-evident. I know it sounds corny, but I really mean it. And I've known every major foreign leader in the last 40 years. I've known them personally just because of the nature of my job. And so when I became president, all these meetings with the G7 and the G20 and all these heads of state, there's not a single one that I leave one of those meetings overseas or here that a leader doesn't come up to me, not a joke as I'm leaving, and go like this, Joe, you can't let that other guy win. My democracy is at stake, not ours, my democracy is at stake. But if we win this and begin to keep this going, we can literally change the nation and change the world. God love you all. Thank you.
President Biden, will you attend the Ukraine Peace Conference in Switzerland? Like the fool I went